Welcome to Using Technology for Warm-Ups and Games. My name is Benjamin and I'll be presenting your teacher training for some fun ideas on how to use technology in the English classroom. Today, I'm going to talk about why it's important to use technology, how you can use technology in your classroom warm-ups. Then you'll practice by creating some of your own ideas. Next, I'll discuss using technology for different games. And finally, we'll review and you'll be given an assignment to complete for camp. To begin, why do you think we should use technology in the classroom? There are many reasons, and each of us will have a different answer. To help you start thinking about why technology is important to you, I've created a list of 10 reasons to use technology in the classroom. Take a look at this list. I want you to number from 1, the least important, to 10, the most important. What's valuable to you? For example, if you think it's very important to use up-to-date teaching resources, you'd put the number 10 next to this reason. On the contrary, if using technology to get students working together is not important to you, you'd put a 1 next to this reason. Pause the video and complete question 1 in your student handbook. Now that you've placed a number next to each reason, you can begin to understand why technology is valuable to you. If encouraging creativity received a 1, then perhaps you can find other ways to get students creating. If working together received a 10, then you should look for activities that use technology to encourage collaboration. Keep this list in mind as we go through the video. To begin, we'll look at warm-ups. We all know some traditional warm-ups that do not require technology. They can be great, but oftentimes they don't stimulate our students. I'm going to show you 5 quick ways to warm up your English classes using technology that are both fun and effective. First, I like to use very large photographs. I've included some examples in your teaching materials. I like using these photos because you can zoom in really close and see lots of detail. If students are beginning level, I'll have them write or shout out different things they see as I move across the photo. For more advanced students, I'll have them describe something they saw in the photograph and create a story behind it. Maybe they saw 2 men shaking hands, or a boat sailing across a river. What sorts of stories can they imagine? What are these people doing? Who are they? It gets students thinking creatively. Next, I've included some of my favorite images and GIFs. I'll show an image and ask students to write or speak about what they see. What sort of emotions does the photo make them feel? Sometimes putting 2 images next to each other can receive interesting results for comparing and contrasting. GIFs are moving images, and I like to use them to add variety to my teaching materials. These can be placed next to one another as well for interesting results. These warm-ups do not need to inspire an essay. Just 1 or 2 minutes of writing or discussion to get students thinking in English. I've included some image and GIF files in your teaching materials for you to use, but I encourage you to start saving any interesting images that you find to begin creating your own library. Brain teasers are another fun way to get students quickly thinking in English. Can you solve this puzzle? It's what you'll be doing in a few days. Traveling overseas. Get it? How about this image puzzle? What word do these images create? Photo and copy together. Photocopy. I've included a PowerPoint of compound word puzzles just like this. You can also start making your own. Simply Google compound word list and you'll find long lists of compound words that can be used to create new puzzles. Likewise, the first puzzle I showed you is called a rebus puzzle. I've included some in your materials, but by searching Google for rebus puzzles, you can find even more. 1 or 2 of these at the beginning of class can be a fun challenge for your students and a great way to get them thinking in English. Another warm-up I like is called the Minute Challenge. Pair your students with a partner and challenge them to talk for 1 minute about a question. For a different challenge, you could give students images to discuss. Or even GIFs. Encourage them to talk for the full minute. It will prepare them to speak in class and to think of creative ways to use their language skills. The final warm-up I've included is the classic game of Boggle. Boggle is a game in which you create words from different letters. For example, the letters R, O, S, and E are all touching, so a student would receive 4 points for the word rose. What about the word best? B-E-S-T. Would that work? No, because the letters are not touching, they're not connected. What about D-A-D, dad? Would that work? No, because you cannot use the same letter twice within the same word. Students have 2 minutes to think of as many words as possible. I've included a PowerPoint with instructions and adaptable templates so you can change the letters around, meaning you'll never run out of new games to play. Now it's your turn. I want you to brainstorm some ideas for using technology to teach different warm-ups in your classroom. Write down your ideas, as well as the different materials and equipment that you would need. We'll be using these at camp, so try to be creative and think of something that I haven't shown in this video. Pause the video now while you complete question 2. Now that we've discussed warm-ups, let's move on to games. Who doesn't love games? The best games are fun, but they can also be used to review material and encourage creativity. One of my favorite review games is called Code Breaker. In this PowerPoint, you have to unscramble different words and phrases. Can you break the code? This word is teacher. How about for this phrase? Welcome to camp, of course. Codebreaker is a great way to review vocabulary, and you can change the words or phrases to fit your students. The next game is called Stop the Bus. First, you'll divide your group of students into teams. Each team will need a piece of paper, a pen or pencil, and one person to write. You will present the students with a category, for example, words starting with the letter J. Each team must think of and write 5 words that start with the letter J. Once the team is finished, they must all stand up. Stop the bus! You can check their answers and make sure that they've written all the words on the paper. Another example would be the category 5 places where you can eat. This game is a great way to encourage teamwork and camaraderie in the classroom. The next game is called Taboo. In English, the word taboo means something that people do not talk about. This is another team game. However, in this game, one student will come to the front of the class and sit with their back to the computer screen or video monitor. The teacher will show the rest of the class a word, for example, grass, as well as 3 words in red. These words are taboo, which means they cannot be said. The team's goal is to get their teammate to guess the word grass, but they cannot use the taboo words green, cut, or lawn. If they say these words, they lose a point. Each team has 1 minute to guess as many words as they can. And of course, no gesturing. For example, if a team had the word McDonald's, the taboo words might be fast food, Big Mac, and hamburger. You can get creative and include pictures as well. For this picture of the Taj Mahal, the taboo words are palace, India, and famous. I've included a long list of taboo cards, including different taboo words, so that you can create your own slides if you run out of ideas. The last game I'd like to show you is what's called a bomb game. Bomb games are review games. However, instead of giving points for correct answers, teams never know if they'll gain points, lose points, or something else entirely. The bomb game I've included is based on the Minions movies. Something is wrong at Gru's factory, and the machines are dropping random items, some good and some bad. Teams answer questions and then choose whether to use an item for their own team or to use it on another team. Let's take a look at an example. I'm going to choose a letter. Let's say Q. The teacher asks a question. Who is the father of the nation of India? My team guesses Gandhi, which is correct. Now we must decide whether we want to use the item for our own team or use it for the other team. I'm going to use it for the other team. Let's see what it is. Oh, freeze ray! So the other team will lose their next turn. Let's try another one. President of Turkey. Well, I don't know the answer. So because I didn't know the answer, I have to use the item on my own team. What's the item? Oh, PX41 serum. That means my team gets to change points with another team. That could be good if the other team has a lot of points, or bad if they don't have any points. You keep playing until all of the letters are gone. Fun, right? We're actually going to use this for an evening activity with different teams from different tribes. So, for review, we talked about why using technology can be useful in the classroom. I gave you some ideas for technology warm-ups, and then you wrote down some ideas of your own. Next, I showed you some of my favorite technology games, and now I'm going to give you an assignment for camp. I want you to think of 5 questions that we could use for a camp version of the Gru's Factory bomb game. Write down the questions as well as the correct answers, and make sure the answers are correct, otherwise the students will get mad at me. Pause the video now and complete. For your assignment, I'd like you to send me an email with 2 things included. 1. Your idea for a technology warm-up. Be sure to include any pictures, text, audio, or video that you would like to include, as well as clear instructions. 2. Your 5 questions and answers for the camp version of Gru's Factory. You can find my email address in your camp materials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at camp.